He promised he'd leave everything to me because I was the only one who stayed to care for him. But after his funeral, my siblings stole the will, and what they hid tore our family apart forever. I was 24 when my dad got sick. Real sick. Stage 4 pancreatic cancer, aggressive, relentless, and merciless. My siblings, Jordan and Mallory, were nowhere to be found when we got the diagnosis. Jordan was living in New York, trying to make it as an actor. Mallory had married rich and disappeared into some upscale suburb in Connecticut, too busy with spa days and charity brunches to pick up a phone. So it was just me. Ava. I was still in college when the news came. I dropped out of my last semester, packed up my tiny apartment, and moved back into our creaky childhood home in Vermont. I didn't even hesitate. This was Dad, the man who built our home from scratch. The man who used to make us pancakes shaped like animals every Saturday morning, who taught me how to change a tire, and who sat in the front row of every play I was ever in, even the terrible ones. I thought we had time, but cancer doesn't care about your schedule. Within weeks, Dad was bedridden. I bathed him, fed him, administered his meds, took him to every appointment, every treatment, every long, silent drive home from the hospital. We talked a lot during those months about life, regret, love, and how family doesn't always mean loyalty. I'm proud of you, Ava, he told me one night while I was changing his bandages. You're the only one who showed up when it mattered. I want you to know, when the time comes, I'm leaving everything to you. The house, the land, the savings. You deserve it. I froze. Dad, you don't have to. No, I want to, he interrupted, his voice raspy. I've already changed the will. It's done. That night, I cried harder than I had in weeks. Not because of the money or the property, but because he saw me. Because in the thick of my exhaustion, isolation, and heartbreak, someone acknowledged the sacrifice I had made. Jordan and Mallory visited once during the entire year. One afternoon for less than an hour. They brought fancy teas and gluten-free cookies like they were stopping by a gift shop, snapped a couple of photos for Instagram, and were gone before Dad even woke up from his nap. When he passed, it was quiet, just me holding his hand. The house was so still, it felt like time had stopped. That was the last moment of peace I would know for a long, long time. The funeral was a blur of black clothes, casseroles, and fake sympathy. Jordan gave a dramatic eulogy like he was on stage, eyes damp but empty. Mallory sobbed loud enough for the whole church to hear, despite barely speaking to Dad in years. After the burial, we gathered at the house. People milled around awkwardly, sipping lukewarm coffee and exchanging stories like currency. I felt like a stranger in my own home. Dad's presence lingered in the woodwork, the kitchen, the porch swing that still creaked in the breeze. When the guests left, it was just the three of us. Me, Jordan, and Mallory. We should find the will, Mallory said, her voice tight and businesslike. We need to figure out the estate stuff. It's in Dad's safe, I said, walking toward his study. He told me he updated it months ago. Mallory and Jordan followed me, exchanging glances behind my back. I didn't think anything of it at the time. The safe was under Dad's desk. I punched in the code, his birthday, and opened it. It was empty. At first, I thought I was seeing things. I pulled out every drawer, every folder. The original documents were gone. The updated will, the power of attorney, everything he told me he signed and stored there, it had vanished. No, 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 I muttered, yanking out files and tossing them onto the floor. It was here. He promised. Mallory crouched beside me. Ava, are you sure he didn't just say he changed it but never actually did? Jordan chimed in, arms crossed. Yeah, maybe he got confused. He was pretty out of it near the end. No, he wasn't, I snapped. He told me. More than once. He said everything was going to me. They both fell silent, avoiding my eyes. And that's when it hit me. They knew. You took it, I said, rising to my feet, heart pounding. One of you took the will. You were here before the funeral. You had access. Jordan laughed nervously. You're being paranoid. Why would we steal a will? To rewrite it, I said, voice shaking, to make sure you got everything instead. Mallory narrowed her eyes. Don't be ridiculous. Do you even hear yourself? You're accusing your own family. No, I whispered. I'm accusing strangers who happen to share my DNA. And that's when the fight really began. I tried to stay calm, to give them the benefit of the doubt. But something inside me told me I was right. I hired a lawyer the next day. I told him everything, Dad's promise, the missing will, and the timeline. He nodded quietly, made some notes, and said, if what you're saying is true, we need to find evidence. Otherwise, the old will stands. The old will was nearly a decade old. It split everything equally between the three of us. Fair on paper, but completely disconnected from reality. Meanwhile, Jordan and Mallory wasted no time. They moved fast, filing probate paperwork, talking to realtors about listing the house, even planning to auction Dad's antique collection. They were erasing him like he was some inconvenient stain. I scoured the house for weeks. Every drawer, attic box, dusty book. I went through Dad's old emails, his texts, even the voicemail system he barely knew how to use. But there was nothing. It was like the updated will had never existed. Until I found the recording. It was buried deep in my old laptop. A video from 9 months before he died. I'd filmed it without even thinking. Just a quiet moment of us sitting on the porch. Dad had been reminiscing about life, about us. I had my phone propped on a table, recording for a school project that never got finished. And in that video, clear as day, Dad said, Ava, I changed the will last week. You're the only one who's been here. You deserve this place. I left it all to you. House, land, everything. Jordan and Mallory won't like it, but they didn't earn it. I watched it 10 times before I stopped shaking. I sent it to my lawyer immediately. This changes everything, he said. But I wasn't prepared for how much. Because 2 days later, my lawyer called and said, we found something else. Apparently, Dad had emailed a scanned copy of the updated will to his attorney months before he died. The attorney had since retired, but the email was archived. And it matched exactly what Dad had told me. He did change the will. And now I had proof. Armed with the recording and the archived email, we filed a motion to contest the estate distribution. Jordan and Mallory were blindsided. Their carefully constructed life collapsed in court like a paper castle. They denied everything, of course. Said they didn't know about the updated will. Claimed I must have forged the video. But the timestamps, metadata, and attorney's email made their case look like a joke. The judge ruled in my favor. Everything Dad had promised me, the house, the land, the accounts, was officially mine. But I didn't feel like I'd won. After the ruling, Mallory confronted me in the driveway. Are you happy now? She hissed. You destroyed this family. No, I said quietly. You did. When you decided money mattered more than truth. Jordan was even worse. He showed up drunk one night, pounding on my door, calling me names, demanding his share. I called the police. That was the last time I ever saw him. The family group chat went silent. Holidays passed with no calls, no cards. Mallory blocked me on everything. Jordan disappeared into some failed acting gig in LA. It was like I'd become a ghost. But the truth is, I'd always been invisible to them. Dad saw me, and that was enough. It's been 3 years since Dad died. The house is still mine. I kept it the way he left it, warm, quiet, full of memories. I restored the porch swing. I still make pancakes every Saturday, just like he used to. Sometimes people ask me if it was worth it. All the fighting, the court battles, the broken family. And honestly, I don't know. I lost my siblings. But did I ever really have them? What I do know is this. I honored my father's wishes. I stayed when no one else would. I held his hand as he left this world. And I kept his memory alive, not by what he gave me, but by what he trusted me with. Legacy isn't about money. It's about loyalty, love, sacrifice. My siblings tried to erase that, but they couldn't, because even when everything else was stolen, the truth, our truth, was something they could never touch. And in the end, that truth tore down the lies they built and set me free.